Hi, I'm Tammy, and I have another art project today. It's going to be watercolor, and we're going to use a unique way to make it a stained glass look. I just used a regular white sheet of copy paper, which works well with this project. And I used magic marker, watercolors, pencil, a baby oil, and a cotton ball. And now we're going to draw some trees in. And they're going to be really tiny in the back, or on the top of the mountains, or in the distance. And they don't have to be perfect because you're going to paint over these. And you'll see as we paint them how they'll turn out. I'm going to put a tiny little bit back here. So every time we come up some, we'll just make them a tad bit bigger. And that'll give you depth in your picture. And put a couple here. I just have the line in the middle, and then I just kind of just have squiggly lines down, and you'll see when you paint over it, it'll turn out right. And then in the foreground, we're going to put a lot taller of a tree because it's closer to you. And like I said, it don't have to be perfect because you're going to be using watercolors to paint over it. Nice pine trees in the mountains. So we have our rough sketch here. Now we're going to paint the sky in, and I'm going to use a yellow for the sky to make it look like just a nice sunset. Starting in. So I fill it all in. And I'm trying to make it brighter so it'll be a nicer effect on the stained glass. Now with the mountains, I'm going to try to get just a different brighter color, a little bit brighter than the last two that you see. And I'm going to start out with a red, purple, for our top little mountain here. And then I'm going to put a little blue in with that for our next one to make it a little more purpley. We just want it to be a nice bright colors. And when you are painting mountains, they're very light as they are farther away. So you want that effect. Before we go much further, I would like to outline the mountains, and that's where we get the stained glass look from. I almost forgot, but I'm glad I remembered. You're going to leave the spots for the trees. Like I said, it don't have to be perfect. Continuing on, I'm going to use green-blue color now. And we're just filling in. If you want to lighten up a bit, you can take a paper towel and damp it off. I'm using a brighter purpley red color here. And in yellow here. Maybe we have a hill filled with yellow flowers. Dandelions, maybe. Now I'm going with green. And I am going to lift this up a little. Because our trees are going to be, we want the background to be a tad bit lighter than our trees. Mixed a little yellow and green for this color. I want it a little bit lighter. So now for the water, make it the same color as the sky, as it would maybe look if the reflection of the sky was in the water. So it's just bright. And it's stained glass. Now for the trees we have blue-green, like an evergreen color, and some black just to make it look darker in the background. So what you do is you take, and you just make your little trees. Start out with a little tip on the top and just kind of squiggle the paint down in a triangle look. And we have the very tiny ones in the background, and they're going to be tiny in the mountains because they're far, far away. But every time we get closer, they're going to get a tad bit bigger. And we have a nice mountainy evergreen tree look. If you go to the mountains, you can see the evergreens in the mountains, and they're beautiful. Here we're gonna get a little bigger. Every little hill or mountain. And see, I'm just squiggling it down. And this is a smaller brush than the one I was having before, so you can get that. Now the trees up front, you're going to want more green than black. So you just bring it down. I might get just a bit bigger of a brush because it's a bigger spot. But you want the top with a smaller brush on top. Bring it right down. I let that dry. So now we're going to do the oil. And what you do is you get a newspaper, try not to make too much of a mess. And we're going to take the oil, which I didn't have baby oil, but I did have this coconut rose oil, which worked fine. I guess you could use cooking oil or olive oil if you didn't have baby oil. And what we're just going to do is just wipe down the back of your painting. Right. And this oil will soak into your paper, and it doesn't take very long to dry. And then you can hang it up, put it in a frame. You'll be surprised how nice it looks. Flip that over. Oh, doesn't that look nice? I just put that in the paper to get the excess oil off. And in a short